Since the corned beef in the can be a bit fatty, may I please beg you, may I recommend, may I humbly ask that you do not put any oil or fat in the pan. This is just the tin of corned beef that I just opened up. It's on a medium heat, and look at the oils, the fats that's already rendering out from it. So you really don't need to add any extra fat. Start with the corned beef. And it's one can of corned beef, you know. If you grew up in a Caribbean household, this here is a staple. We always have this on hand because besides being very easy to prepare and quick, you need to grow up with something. It has a sort of a comfort level about it. So on a Wednesday night you come home, you don't feel like cooking for hours, you have some leftover rice in the fridge there, or even crackers, bread, anything, it don't matter. You pop open a tin of corned beef, you add some ingredients in there, you cook it down for about 10 minutes, boom, you're eating a delicious meal. All I did was I broke it up here. My heat is on medium, and it's one of those things you can add just about any ingredient you want in here, from bell peppers to frozen corn and peas. Now, traditionally, my mom would make this with cabbage. As she got older, she has problems when she eats cabbage. She can no longer eat cabbage. So this is why she shifted things, and this is her, well, what she told me she does, and my interpretation of her recipe of using iceberg lettuce rather than cabbage. So if you're one of those people who cannot digest or cabbage causes you problems, this is the recipe for you. As it starts coming up to temperature, and besides not adding any fat to the pan, may I also recommend not adding any salt whatsoever. Tin corned beef or canned corned beef, that is black pepper, fresh ground black pepper, tends to have a lot of sodium in there. Let's try to cut back on the amount of sodium in our diet. Yeah, I've got onions, and that is half of a large onion that I chopped up. A tomato that I just gave a rough chop to. And I've got a small habanero pepper that I cut in half. I'm leaving it big because I want the heat, but I want people to be able to identify that we have a spicy pepper in there. So we leave it big so they can see it and fish it out if they want later on when it's all done. And since the corned beef in the tin is already cooked, it's just a matter of heating it through. But we want to cook out the onions and the tomato and everything else. Now, one of the things I remember when my mom would make this for us is that some people like it soggy, and kind of like a sauce. We never liked it like that. We like it dry. So I'm gonna keep an eye on things, try my best not to get it too soggy. And by adding frozen corn and all that stuff like that, you will get it soggy. However, what I do like to add in here is a tiny bit, that's just about a teaspoon of tomato ketchup. It's been going for about 2.5, almost 3 minutes now. The onion is starting to soften up and flavor up everything there. The tomato is starting to melt away. Yeah, and a couple things. If you wanted to add some crushed garlic in here, by all means, rock some crushed garlic. What I also wanted to mention is, and one of the reasons why you would see us add so many things to a tin of corned beef as we cook it down here, it is because corned beef is important to the Caribbean. Back when I was a kid on the island, it was fairly expensive, and one tin of corned beef would feed my mom and dad, myself, my brother, and 2 sisters. So this is why we would add cabbage and all those different things in here, just to be able to stretch it for more people. I like some scallion in there, so I'm gonna toss in 2 scallions that I gave a rough chop to. Give that a mix. And the smell of frying corned beef here, and we call it fried corned beef, or my Jamaican brothers and sisters call it bully beef. I think that is how it's also called in England, I believe, bully beef. Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong down below, but the smell of this cooking out here, man, takes me back to being a little fella on the islands and just waiting patiently for this to be done. It's been about 6-7 minutes in total now, so here is where I've got my rough chopped iceberg lettuce that I'm just tossing in there. Yeah, traditionally it would be cabbage, but as I said, if you have problems digesting cabbage, or you have issues with cabbage, yeah, iceberg lettuce is another option. Just tuck it in there like so. And remember, iceberg lettuce is a lot more tender than cabbage. So what I'm going to do now is turn off the stove and allow the residual heat to finish cooking everything, warming through that cabbage. And yo, under 10 minutes, I wasn't wrong, under 10 minutes. Just look at that delightful looking proper, eh? Sup soldiers, listen, if you enjoy this recipe, I'd really appreciate it if you hit subscribe and click that bell notification thing. If you've made the recipe, take a picture and send it to me, email address down here. I mean, trying to tell people the email address, them butts will take the address and do all kind of thing with it. And tag me on Instagram at Caribbean Pot. I really appreciate you guys, and thanks for being in my kitchen with me today. Irie. So Chris here, CaribbeanPot.com. Always a pleasure having you all in the kitchen with me. Fried corned beef with lettuce. We explain why we use lettuce. And yo, it's a delightful little something here. Some hot steaming rice. I didn't grow up on white rice, but if you're looking for a quick little rice to cook, you can cook some white rice there in under 10-15 minutes as well. The time you take to cook this, that rice will be done also. Always a pleasure having you all here in the kitchen with me. I notice how the habanero pepper is easy to identify, so nobody is making a mistake and eating that by and causing problems. What's up, soldiers? Don't forget to click subscribe. If you've already clicked subscribe, hit that bell notification thing. I want to all you missing out on the new videos, man. Come on, click.